Hello everyone. I'm doing this video on the January 1st Gemini full moon. I think this year is going to be a great year for music. Number one, let's start off with something positive. Gemini, rules creativity. And the lower mind. So music will probably definitely be a positive outlet this year for really all musicians, and just the music. I think the quality of music this year is going to be really good because we're starting it off on with that type of energy in mind. Communication is going to be super important this year. Super, super, super important. Um, a lot of people do more talking than they do listening. And even when we're talking, we're most of the time not really saying anything. So it's going to be very important with a Gemini full moon type of energy ruling this year that we learn to listen, because we often want to talk before we even hear what someone has to say. And that causes communication issues. And that communication issues in a year that's ruled by communications is definitely going to create a problem for you. Your successes or your failures are probably going to be determined by how well you communicate and how well you interact with others this year. That's just the type of energy. If you got a really strong place Mercury in your chart, you'll probably this year probably be a lot of fun times for you, a lot of good interactions. You'll probably look back on 2018 in a fond manner. If you poor with communication, got a lot of Sagittarius energy, which is opposing Gemini, which I'm going to go into in a minute. Um, not so much into the details and things of that nature. Things may be a bit more challenging for you, especially if your Gemini isn't that strong in your chart, or you don't really, use the mercurial energy all that well. This year probably be some difficulties for you. And the best way to remedy those situations is to pay attention to the details and to listen to what other people have to say. A lot of times we jump into situations that don't really serve us because we didn't read the fine print. Someone is not going to tell you everything that's everything there is to know about a situation that you're getting into, because they're not getting into the situation you are. And so it's important that you realize everything that you're going to get yourself into when you sign this contract, when you engage in a situation, when you take this trip, when you move. All of these things, you need to be on top of the details, because Gemini is dualistic, and so a lot of things that we come into this year are going to be come in pairs, and a lot of situations are going to come in two parts. They're going to start off with a lot of times with what you want to see about it, or what the person or however you interact with the situation. You'll probably start off with the positive, and then after you get invested, you'll start to see the negative. And then there's going to be situations this year that are going to start off negative, and then after you get invested, you're going to see the positive. So with Gemini and Mercury being this dualistic energy and always coming in pairs, it's always important to not commit to its energy, because it could switch up at any given moment in time. Um, Retrogrades this year, the Mercury retrogrades are going to be powerful, because again, this year's energy is coming in on the Gemini type of situation. So the retrogrades are definitely going to be times where you're going to have to step back and learn to really listen and learn to really understand the Gemini energy this year, because it's going to create a lot of havoc or a lot of creativity and fun, depending on how you use the energy. I'm trying to think if there's any, oh yeah, casual sex, yes. You got probably meet a lot of new people if you open yourself up to the opportunity to do so. And because Gemini is such a creative sign, creativity is sexual energy. That they are literally the same thing. And so when you have a lot of that sexual energy rule in a year, there's probably going to be new relationships. There's probably going to be new sexual opportunities coming everyone's way, which I don't necessarily think is a bad thing. The people that you meet this year probably be of a dualistic nature too. So you may start off with the relationship being one way, and then it may progress to be another, particularly quickly, because Mercury's energy moves fast. So it won't take long for a situation for you to realize just how much you lucked up or fucked up. It's going to be one of the two. And that's why the details are very important. This year, you need to look at the details before you buy a car, before you sign, you put your name on the dotted line for a house, before you sign a contract, before you open up a business, before you do any of those things. You need to look at how that's going to affect your future going forward, and if that situation is what it's being presented to be, because Gemini is very tricky. It's all because it's so mentally ahead of its time. It's so genius, really, that it to entertain itself, it plays games with people. To entertain itself, it it's tricky. That's why they say Geminis are deceptive. It's not that Geminis are out to lie to you or out to take something from you, but it's because the fact that they can lie to you and that you believe it is fun to them. That provides a form of entertainment for them, and that's not necessarily fun for everybody else. But Gemini's energy can be selfish too, because it's not necessarily involved with other people. You see, you got the Gemini mind is split into two, and you got, it's all about me. But you know, you got the part I'm going to show to you, and then the part that I'm going to keep to myself, or I'm going to flip them, and then I'm going to show this part to you, and then keep the other part to myself, depending on the type of energy I'm getting from you. So the new people you meet are going to be of a dualistic nature. The situation is going to be dualistic. You just got to be very careful about the details. Probably going to be a lot of fun this year, but even in that fun and all that creativity, you need to be aware. Expressing personal truth too. Gemini is about what we personally believe, our personal opinions. Really, belief is a Sagittarius thing, but Gemini is really about our personal opinions and the things that we feel. The things that we want to do, the things that interest us, the things that we are like to do, and the way that we communicate ourselves, the way we express ourselves, and that's going to be really important this year. Trying to think if there's anything else that I want to. I think that's it. I think, yeah. I think. Oh, wait. One more thing. Morals. Morals are probably going to be really low this year. At the very least, they're going to be being redefined what we consider morality, because Gemini does not deal in there. Gemini is about fun, entertainment, the self. Gemini is a personal sign. It's not about how this action is going to affect others. Gemini has the capability of understanding those things. Gemini has the capability of thinking moves ahead, but all of those moves ahead are for me. It's not about you. It's not about the other person. And Gemini's in it. So with us coming in the year in this energy, there's going to be a lot of focus on the way that you personally express yourself, your personal finances, your personal situation. Your siblings could play a potentially big role in your life this year. Things of that nature. Just make sure you study the details, because you never know how situation can end up when Gemini is involved. Just reading my notes. I think yeah, I think that's it. Just make sure oh, one more thing. Along with the low morals thing, because we have Saturn transiting Sagittarius, which is the opposite sign of Gemini. So this is affecting Gemini as well. And this Gemini energy ruling the year, and then you have Saturn transiting the opposing sign. There's a potential that a lot of situations are going to come into light that's like, wow, I can't believe a person would do that. I can't believe a person would say that, because it's so not moral. It's not all about, it doesn't support our beliefs about what truth is and what wisdom is, because Saturn is reforming all of that. So a lot of situations are going to have to get broken down first, because that's what Saturn does when it transits a sign. It breaks it down first and then builds it up when it's starting to leave, and then it goes through the same process in the next sign. And I definitely do a video about Saturn transiting through Sagittarius. It's a really important time for us. Yeah, so just understand that situations are not necessarily going to be they're going to reflect morals or anything like that. It's going to be, this year is about what people want to do personally, and how people want to express themselves. So this is my video. Thank you.